I am Gerardo Herrera, Communication Director in Riskmathics. We are here at the 14th edition of the Risk Management Training Conference, and I have the pleasure and the honor of having with us Erez Saf, a renowned credit scoring expert. Erez, if you can present yourself to our audience.
Of course, thank you. Hi, my name is Erez Saf. I'm the CEO and founder of CRiskCo. I come from Tel Aviv, Israel, where I got my accent and been working in the credit industry for the past 20 years. More than happy to be here and share my story.
Happy for us, for you to be here. Credit is a key component of any country for any economic growth. And for a Latin American country, credit is key. Without credit, companies cannot grow, people cannot buy, etc. And still, there is an ongoing discussion about traditional credit scoring, because there are a lot of people that have resources, that have payment capacity, but credit scoring doesn't reach them. They are not credit worthy. What is the situation? What is your experience on this?
That's a great question, and it is a very ongoing debate and discussion that needs to be handled and published and talked about. I think one of the barriers of growth, of opportunities in Mexico and in Latin America is the access of credit by individuals, small businesses, micro businesses, even enterprise. Today, the situation in Mexico, only 9% of micro businesses have access to credit from traditional financiers, and 91% do not have access to credit. So 9 out of 10 businesses don't have access to credit. If you look at slightly larger numbers, we're talking about 80-20. So 4 out of 5 bigger businesses don't have access to credit. And if we look at individuals, we have a huge gap of 30 to 40% of unbanked and no credit access on consumer. Now, this is a constraint not just on the individual itself, on the entrepreneur or on the person. It's constraints on the entire community that cannot grow and prosper without access to credit. Now, going back to your question about credit score, I think credit score has been trusted and validated as one of the biggest tools to allow more people and more society to get access to credit. We see it in the US, we see it in Europe, we see it in other markets. The credit score in Mexico is not yet developed enough, and it needs to be changed rapidly in order to make more inclusive and to have more people within it.
Okay, and what are the trends ahead in terms of credit scoring? Are we going to go the traditional banking credit scoring? What role do fintechs, for example, play in this?
I think that's a great question, and the future is combination. We will see bank credit score, but the banking credit score is not the banking credit score that you can see in the US 10 years ago or in other places 20 and 40 years ago. The banking credit score is changing together with fintechs and by themselves. Fintechs have the acceleration power. They will do things faster. They provide more information, more opportunities in the market. Some of it the banks will adopt. Some of them will be with fintechs, Sasoform, and other financial institutions. The changes going to see is more going to details and real-time information. For example, it's very simple to talk when we talk about businesses. The traditional way is to look at all data, financials from 2023 or 2024, where we're now in August 2025. You're trying to predict the future of a business for the next 12 months by looking at data that is 9 to 18 months old. That's a very hard thing to do. So the first step in changing the environment is making sure that there's available data, real-time financial data, that you can make decision upon. Like it's a business or consumer or anyone else. The trend in Mexico is going towards that with the SAT and the e-invoicing and the ruling that's been done. So the data is now more accessible, and if you do the right measures or combine with the right fintechs, you have access to real-time data. The second part is taking this information and process it in an effective way. Because once you get all this massive data and massive information, you need to have the right tools to process, analyze, and provide probability of default for those consumers. Does it make sense?
Yes, perfect. And how do trends like AI and technology play along in this. What I mean is, we have heard in Latin America some very interesting cases that they use as a credit data, the speed with which people type on a keyboard. Or, for example, another bank in Latin America that they uses video gaming practice for young people as part of the credit scoring. So what is it that we can expect from technology in this?
So those are amazing cases, and there are a few more that I know of. I think what we can see here is the ability of the AI to help us processing large amount of data very effectively. So the typing is a great tool, but what's the problem? Why haven't we done the typing 20 years ago? Because typing was 20 years ago. We typed. When I was in high school, I typed as well. The problem is that to process the speed of typing and how many types are you doing and per minute by a human being, it's just too much information. When you have the AI, you can analyze and find the anomalies, the problems, the challenges, the gaps. Then you can get the great score. Then you can get system that can actually deploy and provide credit score, reliable credit score to different people in different segments of the population. But we can see it not just by typing and video gaming, we can see it by the use of the cell phone. But how much do you consume with credit card? How much do you consume with cash? What's your travel experience? Are you only located in your own neighborhood? Or are you with Google Maps actually traveling to different cities and different countries? Because we know from history that a person who's traveling more international and national is more likely to be a successful person financially. So those are the things that we should expect to see. In China, for example, we see credit score that is aligned with many other features. For example, do you cross red lights by walking, or cross red lights by car? Do you have parking tickets? Do you have a problem with paying CFE, the electricity, or water facility? So there's a lot of different aspects that everything will be tested, checked, and verified to see if there is correlation between the prediction and actual real life. And if there is, there's no reason why why everybody is not going to embrace it and move it and use it for the future.
Okay. Well, there is no doubt that the future holds a big promise for credit scoring. Finally, Erez, this is the first time that you attend the Risk Management Training Conference. What do you think of events like this that are not just talks or conferences, but real training and education? How do they help to the professionalization of financial sector in regions like Latin America?
I think this is one of the more interesting conferences I attended, and this is exactly why. The reason that is the actual content, actual skills are being taught and learned here in this conference, and we're not just here to sell. The majority of the conferences, hope not hurting anyone else, is about selling, making network connections that are very important, and doing the branding and marketing. In this conference, we actually transfer data, information. We teach people what are the possibilities. We open their mind into what is actually possible. We're not just talking about the future, we're creating the future right now here in this conference. And this is what's so amazing and important in such an event.
Okay, great having you here. This has been Erez Saf at the Risk Management Training Conference 2025. Thank you very much, and see you in another interview of this event.
Thank you.